is the last.
Make you happy.
Hey everybody, I'm Jesse with Madeium, and today we're going to talk about our most favorite topic in the entire world, and really the whole reason that Madeium exists: to free creatives from the corporations. And in the last episode, we took a look back to say, how did we get here to today? We thought it was important to look at the most prolific era in human history, the Renaissance era. From the 14th century in the Italian era, that was produced by a patronage model from the Medici family. They patronized the arts for 300 to 400 years. And so we said, okay, well, that was the most prolific era. Why hasn't that been repeated? And so we think that it's important that we looked at the way corporate creativity was being managed today. And really, as we saw in the last episode, it's a 140-year-old model that was never set up for creativity to begin with. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how to free creatives and designers and makers and doers and innovators from always getting a corporate brief. We don't think that that system is very efficient, and we'll talk about how efficient in just a minute. But think that for the first time in human history, we have the technology, we have the mindsets, and we're starting to think about distributing wealth in a whole new way. And that's what we're going to talk about in this episode, is creating a whole new 200 to 300 year era in humanity where we can just harness creativity at a much higher degree. We think in order to do that, it has to be owned by you. It has to be owned by the public. The people that are creating all the value within the network should see that value back. And that's what we think is Web 3 principles, right? Web 2 businesses like Facebook and all of these was all about centralization. It was about monopolies and trying to own everything. Well, guess what? They misused our data. They took all the corporate profits and they didn't give anything back to us, the users, that were really creating all that value in the first place. So we think Web 3 in the future, we've got to actually break the creatives and all these innovators free and create a whole new structure for how ideas get across the finish line. So how are we going to do that? Check this out. So we really see a corporation as two halves that, quite frankly, don't get along very well. You've got the company on one hand and then the brand. What separates them? Well, they actually have competing interests. The company is formulated to provide value for shareholders and for executives and for investors. That means that all of the financials are actually being driven from the perspective of adding value to the stock market. We think that that whole system is actually in competition with the brand side. The brand side is the human side. This is you, me, artists, musicians, athletes, people that create value in the system, the authentic sources of creation. So this is what actually connects to the humans. This is what is about storytelling and emotion and building unique experiences and customer loyalty. So within this dichotomy, actually, we can realize an opportunity. We know that Taylorism is going to continue to consolidate power, wealth, and decision making, and the 1%ers become the 0.1 percenters, right? Look what happened during a global pandemic. Billionaires, record profits, us hunkered down, hoping for a vaccine, and a lot of us unemployed. So why would we believe that anything is going to be different in the future unless we can create a much different trajectory? And that's what we're so excited about here, is to share with you this distributed future, this future that is owned and by the creators, by the people that actually create so much value in the industry, yet are being underutilized. I asked you about that percentage. Unfortunately, we asked that same question to 300 creatives. What percent of your creative ability is utilized in your day job? And sadly enough, only only 20% maximum was the answer, no matter where you worked, in what design profession, or at whatever business, whatever brand. Think about that. That's sum total. Only 20% of creative ideas of better solutions for the future for society. 20%? That means 80% of great ideas are lost. And we just don't think that that's okay. We don't think that the future looks like a dystopian future where money and power is only going to consolidate. We know what the global environmental dangers are now of Taylorism. Why would we assume that anything else is going to be different? But herein lies our trust in the creative environment, in creative community and networks of innovators and doers and makers. We're the ones that can actually create that trajectory change by naturally injecting the types of values that we already hold dear. Never have I heard a creative tell me that they got into the creative profession for record business profits and for shareholder value. That's not our driver. So the design industry naturally has so many more values that we bring to the table. And we think that these values are really the key to creating this better future, this future of abundance, this future that is accessible to all people, not just to corporations. Technology, proliferation of ideas and creativity needs to happen by the people that actually have a much bigger view, a much bigger mission in life than just driving that shareholder value. So we think that right now the entire capitalistic system is really closed-minded. It's really sectioned off. So creatives are working right now in a very siloed environment where every other business is seen as competition, where everybody else is a threat to the existence of that business, where all the IP and everything generated is owned by the company, and really it separates creatives at sum total, at large. So really this is organization of organizing creative capital, employer to employer. Employers cannot talk to each other. I can't talk to my friends if they work for a different brand because of fear of threats and violations. We believe that the future looks way more open. It looks like an open system, an open source systems where collaboration is naturally the way that we want to do work. We want to work with each other. We want to amplify creativity. We want to inspire and figure out where these collision courses of idea actually can lead the world. If we don't have to clear the internal hurdles or political hurdles of a corporation or the value systems of a corporation, we believe that this future is way safer for the world, for the globe, and not just our profession. It's based in collaboration. We want comfortable spaces. We want the home base, the home court advantage for your creativity, rather than your creativity always playing an away game in the corporate's sandlot. So this is all about independence and actually bringing people together. So it's really an organizational model that's organized in peer-to-peer. And that in lies what we think is really that next way to harness that lost 80% of creativity. We're not trying to say that we're even amplifying creativity, but we just need to harness it at a completely different rate than the current model actually does. So hopefully you realize that this isn't a far-fetched concept, that we right now today have the tools needed to create a much more distributed future, where future generations are going to be thanking you for the work that you put in, because you're really carving out entire public spaces for the future where the people can access best technologies on an individual level, rather than all the money, the power, and the technology falling into the hands of a few corporations. If you're as optimistic about the future as we are, well, we need your help. Okay, so join Madeium.com and the community of the world's best creatives. Together, we're going to be able to create a peer-to-peer network and really circumvent a lot of the corporations. So follow us on Twitter and Instagram @MadiumMade, and we just launched Discord as well. We've got awesome new projects that are happening right now. NFTs dropping in the sneaker space, footwear artists, designers, sneaker customizers, as well as the world's top skateboarders and photographers. So hit us up. We're always looking to add talent in the Web3 space and the digital creators that are able to create in AR and VR and in the metaverse. Hey, this is really built for you. So hit us up, and until next time, talk to you later. Bye.